Greetings, Michigan Ultimate Survivor League members. It is I, James L. Seagraves, fresh off my trip to Georgia, back to recap the Final Four of the Michigan Ultimate Survivor League. Look forward to the Final Two, aka the Finals. Look at the breakdown of the Elite 8/Final Four of the SUK Bracket, and most importantly, in terms of the general people, what they get out of this podcast is to remind everybody that the playoff challenge starts in 2 weeks. So you will have a recap on that. That is all up and going, ready to rock. I'll talk about the differences on there. And here we go. So let's look at, don't mind SpongeBob in the background, kids awake. Hopefully this microphone will prevent you from hearing Squidward. So here we go. Final Four. Last week we had my son, the Clockwork Elves, taking on Pat Provost. And how much longer will liberalism be legal? Took my advice, changed his name to something a little bit shorter so he couldn't confuse himself again with those long-ass names, which of course resulted in the ultimate controversy and the ultimate display of integrity by my cousin Cale Albert Seagraves last week. So this week, Pat Provost, he had lost to Cale Seagraves in week 1 of the playoffs, or week 2, beaten Cale Seagraves the next week, and this week he was going up against the formidable force of Lennon Lloyd Seagraves, and much to my delight, as we're driving home from Georgia, we're listening to Fox Sports Radio, constant updates. You cannot sit here right now because I'm doing something. Constant updates. We're listening. We're watching it. It was like election night all over again. Well, not really, because election night was pretty boring this year. But we were constantly looking at the updates, and we knew pretty much about halfway through that Arizona Cardinals game that Kenyon Drake would not be the savior that Pat Provost needed, as the Clockwork Elves, my son, defeats how much longer will liberalism be legal by the score of 85.21 to 53.6, making my son the first ever member of my family to make it even to the Final Four. I mean, my immediate family. My cousins made it before. But especially to the finals. Very proud of him. Pat Provost, it was a good year. You still have a chance of redeeming yourself in the playoff bracket to get free entry to next year. You still win money because the loser of this past week will go up against the loser of the other game, the third place game, for an extra $50 payout. What's up, buddy? Huh? Come here. Don't touch anything. There's this kid. Don't touch anything. So, we scroll down here. The other game, Taco Tuesday. He's really been the #1 team in the league the entire year, setting the example of excellence and quality. And surprising, like usually in this league, much like a lot of times in the NCAA bracket, as I always compare this to the NCAA tournament, you can know a lot about football, but at the end it takes a lot of luck. A lot of times the best teams in the league don't make it to the finals. This year, however, Ren, it was an exception. This year, Taco Tuesday, Mr. Miller, Scott Miller, defeats Malin Incorporated, Mullen Incorporated. I don't know how you say that. Paul Ward, drop a line in the old comments there on the Facebook page. I've been saying it wrong all along, I think. But Taco Tuesday defeats Paul Ward's team by a score of 99.65. That's a good score for the next to last week. Holy crap. Now look at these scores here, man. Like, seriously, he scored 121.285, 90.06, and 99.65, making it the third straight week he scored over 90 points in the playoffs. That's impressive, Mr. Miller. So, hats off to Paul Ward. You'll be playing for an extra $50 this week as you hopefully not take anything off over there. Take on Pat Provost. What? Oh, yeah. Sure. Chocolate. There's no chocolate on the screen, but whatever. So that's that. So the third place game is going to be how much longer will liberalism be legal, and Mullen Incorporated. It does look like Mullen after all these years. I've been saying it Malin. I don't know why. No rebates involved. So normally we wouldn't do this, but this time there's only 2 teams to look at. So let's look at the scoring history. Please be quiet, okay? Reports, player, franchise. Scoring history of these 2 teams so we can see what we got. Let's start with, where's that long-ass Taco Tuesday? Let's see who he's got left in the chamber. Josh Allen, he's used. Tom Brady, he's used. Which, by the way, let me just tell you, Tom Brady, that was a crazy game. We thought it was over a lot earlier. Shh, be quiet. Thought it was a lot over earlier. Whatever. because Tom Brady just threw a goose egg that first half of that game, but then he came back with a vengeance, much like he did in the Super Bowl against those hapless Falcons, to make it a game. So, let's see. Patrick Mahomes has been used. That's a big one we're about. Lamar Jackson's been used. That's another big one people are worried about. If you still have these guys, Lennon had him until this week. Tom Brady, Matthew Stafford, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson. He's used a lot of players. Aaron Rodgers, Kyler Murray. Well, I don't know who was left for him. We'll see. Looking at the running backs, he's used Dalvin Cook. Has he used Derrick Henry? He has, thank God. Alvin Kamara, he's used. Ronald Jones, Aaron Jones, both been used. David Montgomery, AP. I'm surprised you made it this far by using him. Jonathan Taylor Thomas. He was a heartthrob. And, yeah, you've used a lot of good running backs here. I can't, unfortunately, see. Well, I can see. I can see who has been used. But we won't do that. We won't do that. We will make you do that research. Wide receivers. Julio Jones has not been used. If he does play this week, that's a big one, but I don't think he's going to play. He's used Tyreek Hill. He's used Calvin Ridley. He's used Adam Thielen. He's used Robert Woods. You know, DeAndre Hopkins, that's another huge one, obviously, probably the biggest one. Will you stop? Stephon Diggs he's used. Get that out of there! Don't dip my, oh my God. Dipping my headphones in the coffee. Travis Kelce, he's used. Okay, so he's used most of the good players, but then again, that's how you get to the finals, by using the good players. Let's look at the Clockwork Elves, just so he can see by comparison who Lennon has used. He's used Josh Allen. He's used Drew Brees. He's used Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Kyler Murray. I swear he doesn't look like he's used as many quarterbacks. Yeah, well, he might not have. Yeah, he has to. He has to. I don't know who's on there or has been used. Has not used old, what's his name there? Oh, yeah, he has used Justin Herbert. What? SpongeBob's off? Okay, Mom, will you turn on SpongeBob for him, please? Here comes Mom to help out. Running backs. Dalvin Cook, he's used. Kenyon Drake, we all know how good he did this week. Sorry, Pat. Derrick Henry, Kareem Hunt, Aaron Jones, Ronald Jones, Alvin Kamara. This is going to be a true Royal Rumble, the final end. So everyone who's left, I mean, it isn't going to exactly be your marquee players this week from either team. Has Lennon used Travis Kelce? He has. So we'll see. The good news is, for both of these players, both these owners, that most of the superstar guys have already been used. But who knows? We'll see how it goes. It goes down to this week. Now, let's take a look at the SUK bracket. Not nearly as exciting, but it's still something. Where the hell's the playoff lineup? Oh, my God. This site is so... I mean, I've been using this site for 8 years. I still don't know where the hell anything is. It's awful. League playoff brackets. I love how you have to use a scroll bar, too, by the way, which I don't even know if I can use on this thing. No, I cannot. Cool. But luckily, we still got here. This week in the SUK bracket is the Final Four, as my squad, the Providence Power, fresh off a abandonment by Kevin Wilson here, who did not even submit a lineup. He was 2-9. 2-9 all year, which is a shitty record, but he actually submitted lineups to get to the Final Four. He gets to the Final Four, he just doesn't submit a lineup. Kevin Wilson, what's wrong with you, man? You had a chance to be 2-9 and still win something, and you blew it! I'm sorry! He's out there fighting for freedom too much, I guess. Providence Power defeats Freedom Fighter. Most known unknown falls to the New Orleans Rock Chucks, which means that New Orleans Rock Chucks, the lovable Aaron King, will be taking on myself in the game of the week in the SUK bracket. Maybe. Let's see what the other one is. Password is Taco. I'm wrong already. He is the defending champion, looking to win a bracket back-to-back years. That might not be the important one, but hey, that's worth something, right? Hell yeah, it is. Password is Taco, taking on Carry On Wayward Son in the other Final Four game. That is Brian David's squad. So good luck to both, all three of you. Well, two of the three of you. I hope you lose, Aaron King, because you're playing me. But that's that. Now, if you go to the website, hopefully you guys who are out of the league are still watching these podcasts. You might not be. But if you go to the website, you'll notice that every page has this giant banner on it. And this is because MUSL is not over. You can join the free-to-play Survivor League Playoff Challenge by clicking the link, which is the blue text here, okay? Actually, the whole thing basically links to it. That'll take you to the new page, and if you're like, oh, I'm going to look down at the bottom. Oh, there it is right there, too. So if you click that, it'll go to this new page, which looks almost identical, except for a couple things. Number one, there's no YouTube video that's outdated by 4 weeks. And number two, you'll notice there are no conferences in this version, okay? So how the playoff challenge works is this. Every week, first of all, your players are reset for this. You get to play whoever you want. All the players are reset for the playoff challenge. Same rules apply with a couple of different exceptions. Number one, you do not play against people. It is a total points league. So if you miss a week, you're pretty much done. So submit a lineup every week, please. Number two, we have slight modifications to the scoring. Every year, we do experimental scoring in the playoff challenge, see what works, see what doesn't work. This year, we have edited this pretty severely, okay? In an effort to make the game more in tune with the real football, we've done 2 significant scoring tweaks. Well, 3 technically. Number one, when you fumble a ball, you lose the ball, turn it over to the team, it is bad news for your team in the NFL. It is now much worse news for your team in MUSL. We're from negative 0.5 points to negative 2 points across the board. So if it's a quarterback or running back or receiver or tight end, whoever, if you fumble the ball and you lose the ball, minus 2 points for you, which is a big deal because it went from minus 0.5 to minus 2 because it's much more devastating than you'd think, especially with half-point PPR, whatever. I think it balances out the scoring quite a bit. Number two, more severe. Interceptions have gone from minus 1 point to minus 2 points, and sacks, that's right, sacks, Cassandra, are now worth minus 1 point for quarterbacks. It's a big deal when your quarterback gets sacks. It totally screws your team over. Thus, you are going to lose points that way. We switch it up, however, because now passing touchdowns for the playoffs only are worth 6 points for quarterbacks. So it kind of balances out. But we think it kind of makes it more in tune with real football. The importance of being sacked is a big deal in the NFL. The importance of losing a football, big deal in the NFL. So we're trying it. We're going to see. We don't know if we'll adopt these scoring next year. We might not. But for this league, we are doing that. Also, minor tweaks to defensive rules. Block punts, block field goals, blocked extra points are now worth 2 points instead of 1. And I think that's it. So my mild scoring tweaks on the defensive end, pretty major on the offensive end when you factor in the quarterbacks especially. But, this will help differentiate the better quarterbacks from the, not so good quarterbacks. So interceptions are worth twice the damage, I should say. And fumbles are worth 4 times the damage, which might be a little extreme, but we're trying to balance things out here, folks. So we'll see how that works. Again, giant banner that you can't see here, but if you go to your regular page, you'll see it. Click the link. I also emailed everybody the link to join up. So join up. It's the finals, folks. In the third place game, we have Paul Ward taking on Pat Provost in Mullen Incorporated and versus How Much Longer Will Liberalism Be Legal? For now, that's the team name. And then in the granddaddy of them all, the finals, we have my son, Lennon Seagraves, taking on Taco Tuesday, owned by Scott Miller, who's been the team of the year without question. Can he finish it off? Does he have one more game in him to score 90-plus points? Or will a 14-year-old shock the world and take home the title? We'll find out. We'll be back next week. You all have a holly jolly Christmas. We'll talk to you soon. I'm out.